There are smiles all around, and rightly so, because it's been one hell of a complete bowling performance from the Indian team. We suspected that with the dew coming in, things could not work out for India, and England could really chase the score. But what did we know? We got the score prediction wrong in the first innings. In the mid innings review, we got a few other things wrong. But anyway, let's not talk about the things that we got wrong today. In fact, we should talk about the things that went right for the Indian team, especially starting with the bowlers. I have Nikhil and Anirudh with me, who were with me even in the preview and the mid innings show. I'll go to Nikhil first. Nikhil, just sum up this bowling performance. I mean, I am out of words, which is not very often, as our viewers would know. So, you do the honors today.
For a long time, a lot of Indian fans have waited and have waited and have waited and have waited for a pace attack like that. And there is a reason why that waited was so much waited, because you see the lens Bumrah started with, and then you saw the lens Shami Siraj had, and then when Chami came on, you suddenly saw something happen, and then it just kept happening. You talk the David Malan dismissal, you talk about the Johnny Bairstow dismissal, that Ben Stokes wicket. He's bowling there, beating him, beating him, beating him, beating him. Then goes cross seam. Ben Stokes is nowhere, just like England. It just sums up the entire campaign that they've relied on people who to turn up and deliver. India have had people who've been doing and delivering, and then they have backed them. So I think it is. I probably thought the game was done when they had those 5 wickets, because yes, Moeen Ali and everybody else would have still gone on and done what they would. But that kind of performance that early, that Joe Root first ball dismissal, that is as good and as clinical as it can get. So I think India will really should thank Rohit and Rahul Dravid and everybody else in the setup for being able to build a side like that in terms of at least the bowling department. I mean, this is something that we've been talking a lot, and after today, I don't see Shami sitting on the bench. It will be entirely cruel and very, very harsh to even ask Shami ke bhai aap baitho bench pe. It That cricketing skill doesn't deserve anything but playing, because 7 overs, 2 maidens, 4 wickets. It's and you kind of felt that it could happen any ball, and I think that's the strength of any side. And this is not that you're defending 400 or 450. You're defending 229. You cannot afford anything but to take wickets, and not for the first time. When the ball does anything off the straight, England struggle. So plenty for them to look out for. And yeah, thank you, Bumrah. Thank you, Shami. Sorry, that's the longest that I've spoken, I think, since the start of the World Cup.
It's not beaten my record, so
But go ahead.
I don't mind it. Anirudh, coming to you, just I mean, Nikhil summed up quite well, but this was pretty much a very very holistic bowling performance that I have seen in a long time in ODIs. Yes, there are times when a single bowler blows away the opposition, like we saw in the Asia Cup final, and there are other different ways where you come back, like how India came back in the last game. But what was the moment for you today, like where you felt that this is on, or from here England are not getting a chance? Just anything that stood out for you.
I mean, I think the moment Ben Stokes got bowled, I think we all knew that it was the end of the game, because, I mean, I think someone summed it up well. The guy who was supposed to exactly help England in these kind of situations, he came out of retirement so that he can be clutch in these kind of situations, soak up the pressure, and then, kind of help England in these 230, 240 run chases. That's the only reason he came out of retirement. He played arguably the worst shot any batter has played in the entire year. Like, he was so rattled, he was so clueless for the entire over, and then it all resulted in him playing probably the worst shot I've seen a top order batter play. I don't know, in God knows how long. And that moment you knew that it was done, because in the form England were in coming into this match, they were not going to suddenly overturn this kind of a collapse and suddenly beat India, especially when you knew that there was still Jadeja and Kuldeep to come. So the moment Shami got Ben Stokes, I knew that it was done. But, it is just, Bumrah, Kuldeep, and Shami did not put a foot wrong. Like, all three bowlers were flawless. They did not even bowl a single bad delivery, probably. Maybe except Bumrah, a couple of balls to Willie, but we'll ignore that. And equally, I felt England's batting was pathetic. I think they did not have a strategy. They did not know whether to attack. They did not know whether to defend. They did not know whether to soak up pressure or counter punch. They were like absolutely. They had a. It was, I don't know how many overs they batted. They batted exactly 34.5 overs. It was probably like about 34.5 hours of brain fade that we witnessed, like from the moment of Malan's dismissal to the entire 35th over. It was just the worst batting I've seen from any team in this tournament easily. I mean, Netherlands got bowled out for 90 against Australia, and they played like 100 times better than what England did today. So, it is just a combination of India being flawless and England being absolutely pathetic, that combined into England losing by 100 runs, chasing a target of 230 with like buckets of dew around. So you can just imagine how bad, how embarrassing a defeat this is for the defending champions. Let's not forget. It's. I think Morgan was right when he said that this is the worst. Uh, he's never seen anything like this sport. A defending champion play like this in any sport. He's never seen that, and I think that's true in a way.
Yeah, I have some numbers that I wanted to discuss. They've come to me courtesy our statsman Anirudh Kasagod. Mohammed Shami now has the most four-wicket hauls for in ODIs for India. He has 13. He has overtaken Ajit Agarkar's record of 12. And to go along with these four-fers, he also has three fifers. Basically means that 10 times he's taken a four-wicket haul, three times he's taken a five-wicket haul. He now also has the joint highest four-wicket hauls in World Cups, along with Mitchell Stark. Again, Stark has three fifers and three fourfers. Shami has four fourfers and two fifers. And there are quite a lot of numbers that will keep coming in, I'm sure. But on that note, I just want to add that Mohammad Shami now has a strike rate of 17 in World Cups and an average of 14, which basically, if we do the math, if Shami bowls his full quota of overs, he's picking three wickets and he's conceding around 49 runs and taking three. Basically, his average full quota performance in World Cups is 3 for 49. You take that, right? Not bad for any bowler, isn't it, Nikhil?
And of course, it's not bad, and it's not that these numbers have come uh, versus sides that aren't great or they aren't. It's not. It's against people who are playing the World Cup. So they are good numbers, and he's even in that last game against New Zealand. That is five. I mean, that side was number one that's topping the table at that point of time. So it's great. And again, it is. I don't know. I mean, we've all spent so much time talking about Shami at eight, Shami at eight, and now I have no clue if there is a possibility of him even being contention of a discussion whether he should be part of the side or not, because many times we've all had our concerns about what he does in the last spell, what he might do in the second spell. But I think this bowling unit as a unit is functioning so well that they are taking care of each other, which is I think a very good sign that if someone, because if you see Siraj hasn't had a great time, and that just tells you that even with that, one of your premier bowlers, if he's not having a great time, you're still beating sides by 100 runs. There is no let up. And as Anirudh said, they hardly put a foot wrong. You look at the Joss Butler dismissal. I mean, that dismissal and the Ben Stokes dismissal, it just sums up how. And again, it's not about taking a Mickey out of England, but it's just how good India have been, and it's just how good. Like Shami comes back and takes Mo Nelly first ball. And that is just it's just very good planning, very good execution, and of course you'll every day take it and let's see how he goes on this in the coming times.
Yeah, Akhil Nair has said something which makes me wonder if Avnish has hacked his account and sent this comment.
It's already
But
1-0 now. So yeah.
a lot of comments are coming in, and guys, please keep sending them. I'm trying to take as many as we can, because I understand the mood is very jovial and all of us want to talk about the bowling attack, and or everything else around it. So please keep sending in your questions. Just stay patient a little. I will, because as Rohit Sharma showed and a few batters showed, showing patience was important on today's pitch, which something the English batters did not. So just stay patient, keep sending in your comments, and on that note, please press the like button. We did cross the 50 marker in the mid innings review. We plan to do that, given the kind of performance it has been, and hopefully, take some advantage of the happy mood around the Indian cricket team. So yeah, please press those like buttons. And now, moving on to this, you spoke of Siraj, right? This is his pitch map. I just wanted to talk to you about how he's bowled in the first power play. It's something we've discussed early on as well. Now, once Hardik comes back, Anirudh, maybe you can take this and then we can go to Nikhil. Once Hardik comes back, what do India do? Do India stick with Siraj, or do India play do India play Shardul for the batting depth, or a lot of it is going to come down to Hardik's bowling fitness?
That is a very good question. I think just thinking what India can potentially do if everyone is fit. So probably Hardik comes back in for Shreyas Iyer. Like let's assume that happens. So you have already Bumrah and Hardik who are two seam options, and you will need one more, which is Shami, and it comes on between Shardul and Siraj, I guess. But I think after today, it just feels that they will obviously go for Shardul at the number 8 spot because of the, like what Somesh tells, that the illusion of batting depth, at least, and even today you saw that England did not bowl extraordinarily to the tail. So maybe even if Shardul was there, India could have collected 20-25 more runs. There was a scope for that. But yeah, I think Siraj is probably going to get dropped if it comes down to Siraj versus Shami, because see, you can't keep giving the excuse that because Bumrah is giving control from one end, Siraj is going for the kill. I mean, that you can say once or twice, but when a bowler continuously concedes 18, 16, 17 runs of his first 2 overs of the spell, regardless of the surface, you can't say that, oh, Siraj is conceding because he's going for the kill. Siraj is conceding because he's being too aggressive. At some point, you need Bumrah to also receive support so that you can put pressure on the batters from both ends, which is what happened when Shami came into the attack. You can't just take Bumrah for granted and keep another bowler at the other end who's consistently underperforming for 4, 5, 6 matches.
and and,
Uh,
and also and also even though Bumrah might be robotically accurate, he's also going to have a bad day someday in the tournament, right? We can't really take him for granted. But
yeah,
if we look at the pitch map here, Nikhil, you can also come in. What is really going wrong for him? Because we see that majority of the deliveries he's still bowling in the in the length area, which is between the 6 to 8 meter length. But whenever he's going fuller, he's conceding a lot of boundaries. Is it down to the poor lines, or is it down to not bowling the correct lengths to the batter which is there? Maybe going short to a batter who prefers short deliveries, and maybe going too full to a batter who loves to drive. What exactly is the issue? Because there's been a considerable drop off post the Asia Cup, and I think it would also be unfair to say post the Asia Cup, because from the beginning of 2022 he's had outstanding numbers. So what is it that is really not clicking right now?
I think it's difficult to point out why suddenly that has happened. I have just felt that he's searching. He's searching for that right line, right length, and at times he isn't able to execute the plans that are there for him. Anirudh touched a point about one guy getting control, but the other guy can't really go everywhere. So that's what is very, very surprising from Siraj, that he's going everywhere. He's bowling short, he's bowling full. Uh, Maybe they're trying to execute something which is not able to pull off at this point of time, because you look at the 6 for 14 that he had, 6 for whatever those numbers, 6 for that he had in the Asia Cup. Uh, it seemed like whatever he would do, he would get a wicket. And right now, whatever he's trying to do, he's not getting a wicket. So it's really strange how things have changed so suddenly, because again, same attack, conditions are not too different, but I just felt that Siraj is searching a lot more than he should probably, and not able to settle into a rhythm. I mean, we saw that probably in the unable to recollect the game where that happened, but he went full and then just came back, held the length, and then suddenly looked far better. So I think that
Pakistan
is
match.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
Pakistan game. Yes, Pakistan game. So I don't know why it isn't happening earlier, but again, it's just one of those things that they have to work on in terms of what is he exactly trying to do.
I just one last point on Siraj. I just wonder how much of it is due to physical fitness as well, because I am not sure if he's got burnt out or something, because this slump kind of started towards the midway point of the Australia series, and then he got whacked in the Rajkot match as well in the third ODI, and he's not been at his best since then. And if you look at the entire bowling attack of India, Siraj has played probably twice as many matches. He's probably bowled twice as many overs as any other bowler, at least definitely more than Bumrah, definitely more than Shami. So I'm starting to wonder if the months and months of crickets he's played over the past year, not just in white ball cricket but also in test, because he's a test regular across conditions for India. Maybe if it's starting to catch up and he's mentally slash physically fatigued without even realizing. So that could. We also know Siraj is a player who thrives on intensity, and maybe the high intense nature of the World Cup might have got to him as well. Maybe that's also a factor. And also one thing with Siraj is that if you look at his career completely, he's a player that relies on momentum, and it's not like he does well in one match, he has a bad match and he comes back in IPL and all. If he's good in a season, he's good for an entire season. If he's bad in a season, he's bad throughout the season. So Siraj usually has these stretches where if he's either good, he's really good, or if he's poor, he's pretty poor. So uh, even
A
for
bit like Maxwell in that regard.
Probably. Yeah. So even for the benefit of Siraj himself, it might be better to at least rest him for a couple of matches, to either give him rest or like light a fire in him, saying that like, bro, you have lost your place now. Shami, he merits a starting spot over you, so it's up to you now to kind of prove your worth in the nets and come back, or whatever. But I just feel that just giving Siraj a break for a couple of games will be the best result for all parties involved.
Now, Anirudh, I know what are Nikhil's thoughts on Stokes coming back and his contribution, everything, etc., because Nikhil has spoken enough on this. I want your thoughts on, Stokes coming back out of the retirement, and then how he's fared in this tournament so far. Because a lot of comments are about that. That okay, that he's been disappointing. I just feel one of the reasons why England have not done in this well in this tournament is that the two primary collapse arresters or anchors that you would talk about, Malan and Root, have not fired. Both of them amongst themselves have 350 plus scores, and
Yeah.
two of them came in that game versus Bangladesh. That's about it. And there was this 150 by Root. And today, or in the last game, you really can't blame Stokes because he did put a contribution. Although you can talk about the approach that he took, whether it was the right one or not. But really, I mean, what maybe it's easier to say in hindsight, but was dropping Brook the right call or the right decision? Because he did play a very good innings against Afghanistan,
Yeah.
where most of us did not feel he could do that given the spin attack at display. And so what do you at this point of time feel is the best 11 that England can put on the park? It may be on paper, but still.
I mean, I think they are the only side to use all 15 players so far. So I don't think any combination of players they put up will be good enough at this point. But I mean, I thought it was a really poor decision to drop Harry Brook for the last match, especially because not only was he England's best batter against Afghanistan, I thought he started off really well against South Africa as well at Wankhede before getting a ball that unfortunately kept a bit low. But
Yeah.
apart from that, he was starting to look really good. He was starting with confidence. He was playing really well. I think it was a really poor decision to drop him. But they brought in Livingston for Brook, if I'm not wrong, because both Brook and Stokes played against South Africa, if I'm not wrong. I think Stokes got cotton bowled by Rabada in that match. So if at all they wanted to make a change, they should not have brought Brook for sure. As far as Stokes is concerned, it's really, I mean, I don't know what's the why he needed to come back in this World Cup, because this has he's not only played any ODI at all. I know he had a 180 against New Zealand like last month, but I'm talking about playing the format. He's barely played the format in the last 4 years, and also he's not physically fully fit at all. He's not able to bowl, and he could have instead used this time to kind of repair his knee and get set for the next year probably. But it's become such a lose-lose situation for England that Stokes has come back, he's underperformed, and his knee is also still bad. His physically he's done. Mentally he looks exhausted. So I just feel like Stokes underestimated the nature of the challenge. I feel that Stokes underestimated what was ahead of him. I think Stokes and England kind of thought that okay, it's a World Cup, 50 over. So what? Let's put him back in. He's played a World Cup before. He did it for the T20 World Cup, so he'll definitely be able to do it again. But that's massively backfired. So I just feel that this is just England and Stokes realizing that they did not think through their decision too much before committing to bringing him back.
Basically, in a nutshell, you cannot take the sport lightly, or else it will come back to bite you.
Especially because 50 over cricket is not T20 cricket. 50 over World Cup is not T20 World Cup. It's not like you can come back without playing the sport and then just start playing, because the intensity is like so much more compared to T20 because of the taxing nature of this format. You have to be on the field for like close to 8.5 hours. So I feel that that's one aspect where England might have grossly, and England and Stokes might have grossly underestimated the challenge of what lay ahead of them.
Sports fan is taking the mickey out of the English team by saying ICC has done England a favor, would not interested in playing by announcing new rules for Champions Trophy. Sanjay has come in and said that haven't seen an Indian team that is as happy and enjoying each other's success as much as the current team after the bunch that won in Test series in 2021 in Australia. Uh, yeah. Now, this is one question that has come in by Saurabh, where he wanted to ask the shot that Kohli got out on was unlike Kohli. The pitch seemed where Virat could have played a typical Virat innings. Wanted to know what would be your reasoning him playing that shot. Nikhil, maybe you can go here.
I don't know the exact reason, obviously, but right through the World Cup, you have seen everyone in this side wanting to take the aggressive route. You saw that in the very first game against Australia, where Virat pulled that one and the catch got dropped. And after that, I think in a few games, it's that first risk that has come off. But when you don't get that first risk enough or early, I think it probably makes you take that risk by yourself. You can take Gill's example as well. That even today he was coming down the wicket, he was looking to get across and nudge it around, but it wasn't quite happening the way he wanted it to. And then he probably went, thought, okay, the ball is going to come straight. Let me just hit through the line. But it wasn't a deck to do that. So, and Kohli was tied down uh, by string of dots. And I again remember was it the in the New Zealand game? No, sorry, I'm missing that game where he got out to the pull shot, where he
Pakistan.
was looking, not the Pakistan game, the one where Rohit went very, yeah, Pakistan game to Hassan Ali. Even in that game, you see him take that risk earlier than you, and you don't usually see that risk being taken by Virat. So I think it's just a thing that they've decided as a unit that we'll look to impose ourselves and we'll look to be positive, which is great. I just think it is when it's a horizontal bat shot, it will always get trickier, more so while batting first, because you don't know the right pace of the deck, and sometimes it will not come off. And today it did not. But the only thing unlike that was we don't really associate him to go for that shot so early into the innings. So uh, it can happen at times. First World Cup duck cover for Virat. So uh, let's get that out of the way as well. Maybe I'll just put it that way. But the thing to note is they are going to be positive. So we'll have to take that with a pinch of salt as well, that sometimes it may not come off as well.
Yeah, one of the sections of the review show I'm not taking up today is the turning point, because I don't think there was one in the second innings. And for the first innings, we had already discussed in the mid innings show.
Sorry,
Now,
there was a turning point. That and sorry, Siraj. The turning point was Siraj going off after the first spell.
fair enough, fair enough. But now, where do England go from here? They have three games remaining.
Ahmedabad.
Australia, which is versus Australia. Then they play
Yeah,
a game versus Netherlands in Pune and Pakistan in Kolkata. And now the new rule has come up that you have to finish in the top, like the top seven teams along with Pakistan will qualify for the Champions Trophy. So are England in danger of not finishing in the top seven? Because with current form, you feel it's difficult for them to get past Australia. uh, Netherlands have been coming out preparing well, and Pakistan is Pakistan. So, uh, what are England's best chances to finish with two wins or three wins out of nine?
Anirudh.
So, I mean, see, that'll be nothing better than Australia beating England and knocking them out of the Champions Trophy 2 years in advance. But that would be, that would be one of the most hilarious things to happen if it happens. But it's gonna be tight. I feel like the Netherlands match would be a winner takes all kind of a challenge at this point, because one of Afghanistan and Netherlands are guaranteed to get 3 wins because they are facing each other in a few days time. So you reckon that the winner of that match should, with 3 wins, they should be safe enough to be in the top eight, because Bangladesh are not getting to 3 wins most likely. So that winner of the Netherlands Afghanistan clash probably qualifies for the Champions Trophy. Now there's another clash between Netherlands and England, and that might, I just feel that that could decide who. I mean, look, we were all complaining about dead rubbers, but now the ICC's ruling has kind of turned all these supposed dead rubbers into consequential matches, and as it turns out, England are about to play the most important ODI of the year. Unfortunately, they won't qualify for the knockouts, but they can ensure that they qualify for the Champions Trophy at least. But given Netherlands almost have like a better record against England in ICC tournaments, you have to fancy Netherlands. I think Netherlands will enter the match as favorites, to be honest. That in current, I still, I mean, look, the only factor is that it's Pune, but everyone said the same about Bengaluru against Sri Lanka. People are like, oh, at Chinnaswamy, England are definitely not losing to Sri Lanka. They could have lost if it was Lucknow or whatever. They got bowled out for 160, and they lost by 8 wickets. So, look, who knows? Van Meekeren is going to take a 6 wicket haul, and England are losing by like 250 runs or something. Who knows?
Let's hope that is the day where where Netherlands openers get into form and score some runs, because barring today, England have also struggled with wickets with the new ball. So who knows?
Yeah.
Now, we spoke of England's road ahead. India also have three matches remaining. They play Sri Lanka in Mumbai on Thursday, South Africa on Sunday, which is the 5th of November. And Avnish has repeated so many times that even I know that it's Virat Kohli's birthday that day. So yeah, and then on the 12th of November they play Netherlands in Bengaluru. So India looking are India looking good for an unbeaten streak into the semis? Because that's, I know a lot of people have been talking about, oh, it's something that we took up in the last review show after the New Zealand game as well, that okay, India really need to lose one of the games. But I said that as far as are getting tested and still getting results, it doesn't matter. And today they were stretched once again. So is India going into the semis unbeaten a genuine possibility now?
Yeah, it is a possibility, and as you said, I'm not I'm not going to be too perturbed about how many games are you winning or not winning as long as you are going there, because as you
Just one bit before before you take answer this. See, Nikhil will give us the logical answer. Okay, we expect that from him, but we need to do our bit. And again, for India to have an unbeaten campaign till the semis, we need more likes. So please destroy that like button. Please, subscribe to the channel. And now I'll give the floor to Nikhil once again.
well done, well played, good covering of the line and ensuring the half volley was put away. But yeah, as you rightly said, see, as long as India are getting tested and they are winning, that is a far bigger box ticked going into the semis. And the one thing that I'm actually looking forward to is India batting first more now, because even more so after today, because getting they have batted first many times before this World Cup, but you'll want to do that now as well because there is dew coming in, and you'd want to see how the bowling also goes, because you don't want to get into a situation into the semis that suddenly you have to bowl with a very wet ball and you're like, oh, we haven't done this enough, and under pressure. I think today, while the pacers set it up, that's the challenge, right? If you have such a good pace attack, they will take a few early. But even after that, you saw the way Jadeja and Kuldeep bowled with that much control, with so much dew out there. It was commendable, and I think if India have the opportunity, I don't think they will mind batting first as well, just so that they are getting into those knockouts well prepared.
Also, very important to note that the next two games that India play are at the venues of the semis. If
Yeah,
India don't play Pakistan, if India don't face Pakistan in the semis, they will play the semi at Wankhede. And if there is Pakistan, then they'll play the semi at Eden Garden. So those are the next two venues that India have in the league stage. So very important point mentioned there by Nikhil. Anirudh, your say on this? What really could stop India from having an unbeaten streak going into the semis?
I mean, it's hard to look at. I mean, it's hard to think that India will even lose a match right now. I was thinking you're going to ask me what is going to stop India from winning the World Cup unbeaten, because at this point, to be
See,
honest, that,
I don't want to get ahead of myself. We'll
yeah,
take it there.
I get it,
Okay.
but
There
I
are
mean,
still four
to,
few
to, to
matches to
answer
go.
to answer your question, I feel at this point the only way India can even lose a match in this World Cup is if they bat first, score uh, a par-ish total on a very good batting surface, like say they score 325, 330 at the Wankhede, and then they come up against a batter who's like someone like Mitchell Marsh or like Winton de Kock, who's on an absolute tear, and they score a century or something, and the opponent chases it down. That's the only way I see India losing a game in this World Cup. I don't know whether it's in the group stage or the semi-final, but I don't see India losing otherwise. So that being said, so if India do play South Africa, if India chase against South Africa, I think they'll win. If India bat first against South Africa in Kolkata, maybe there's a chance that South Africa might win. But then again, you have to take into account that South Africa are like terrible chasers, and they prefer batting first. So I don't know. I don't that the toss in that match will be pretty interesting to see, what each side will look to do, because whether you want to like play to your strengths or like kind of attack the opponent's weakness. So from the fixture list, I feel like the only match India are capable of losing in the next three is probably South Africa. But even that, I feel at this point in time, India will go in as at least 60% favorites.
So you heard it from Anirudh there. Babar Rao Apte saying I had said Rohit getting 500 at 120 and a year to sit out and Sky comes in and we play Hardik Jaddu and Sky according to the situation. Does that still feel right? It very much does so. In fact, I'm just looking up Rohit's numbers. He has 398 runs at a strike rate of 119.16 and three games to go on what we usually consider to be good batting decks. So yeah, your predictions very much on, and who knows, it could go above 500 as well. So yeah, good on you for that. uh, don't I really don't think anything else is left for us to discuss on today's game. Tomorrow, I'm so much caught up in today's game that I've even forgotten which game is tomorrow.
It's
Anirudh, which
Afghanistan, Sri Lanka in Pune.
which sorry.
Afghanistan, Sri Lanka in Pune.
Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka in Pune. Okay, so yeah, it's also going to be an important game, not just to decide who qualifies or not, but also because both these teams are still in contention, at least for that fourth spot. So would be a good game. And we'll be there to do the preview and the review show tomorrow. I'm just glancing through the comments once again. If you guys still have anything to ask or any comment to make, I am actually willing to take that because it's very good mood. So might as well, see a few more questions. Open book is asking, okay, how do we know who do we not want to face in the semis? The Aussies. I don't know. I mean, I'm really not sure if we should really be worrying about that right now because those results are not in our control. Neural hacks with Vasant is saying we must take it one step at a time. So that's what we believe in.
I
But
think to answer the question who India would not want to face in semis, I feel that after, I mean, I would have said they would prefer to face uh, Australia, probably because they've already beaten them once. But I also feel that Australia is the only team who has firepower from top to bottom to beat India, in the sense that if everyone plays to their potential in the Australian team, they could beat India. I can't say the same about New Zealand, for example. Because it's Wankhede, I feel that India would prefer to play New Zealand. I just feel that India would much rather fancy their chances of defending 350 against New Zealand at Wankhede rather than defending 350 against Australia or South Africa. Just because I feel that New Zealand don't have enough firepower to chase down such a total. I know that they came close to chasing down 380 odd yesterday, but I still feel that if on like 8 out of 10 occasions New Zealand will not probably chase down a 350 plus target, especially against an attack of India's caliber. I could be wrong, but I just feel that matchup wise, India might prefer to face New Zealand at Wankhede. Any other venue, I would not have said that, but at Wankhede, I feel that Australia and South Africa have significantly more raw firepower than New Zealand when it comes to taking down Indian bowlers.
Raja Humans doing my job. He's saying, please like the video. Thank you so much. Those who haven't, please do it. Kanan B's come up with a good question. Which bowling attack has been the second best after India? Nikhil, you want to take this one?
Hmm. South Africa.
Yeah, I think it's a very close call, but I think the overall effectiveness of South Africa takes over New Zealand, because I think New Zealand have relied on just 2 3 guys to come good, and Lockie Ferguson hasn't had a great time. But you look at South Africa, they've had almost everybody taking crucial wickets. Jansen has been taking 2 wickets consistently. Rabada, when he did well, Lizard Williams played one game. Can't look too much into it.
Yeah. Coetzee
But
has 13
Coetzee has,
wickets, I guess. Yeah, 12 or 13
yeah,
wickets.
Coetzee has done very well playing the middle overs enforcer role. Maharaj has done well. Very, I mean, ask Pakistan how well Maharaj was. Uh,
Shamsi
and
has done well.
Samshi has done well as well. And Rabada, of course, we remember that game that Anirudh doesn't. But that it is as good as it is. So yeah, South Africa close second, which is why that game will also be very good. That India are playing again in Eden Gardens. We don't know the kind of surface that we will get, but hopefully a good battle there.
Yeah, I'd hope that the pitch is more like the one in Eden and not in Mirpur or Dhaka. So yeah, that's something I'd hope for, because you want those sides to play on that kind of a pitch with having
Yeah.
some pace and bounce, because all the paces would then come in. Uh, Ashish Gupta has come up with another comment which I want to
Mm.
take because Anirudh's here. Ashish Gupta says, "I think if Stark hits his usual form, Australia will be the most dangerous." Your thoughts?
I don't know. We've been waiting for that, I guess, for a while. But like, see, that's what I was saying. Basically, in terms of the raw firepower Australia possesses from top to bottom on paper, if every one of their players they have somehow magically performed to their best, they probably have the ability to win the World Cup. That's not happened in this World Cup so far. That might not happen. But all I'm saying is that we saw it in the T20 World Cup in Dubai as well. Randomly, out of nowhere, everyone came into form at the right time. Probably not the bowlers, but the batters. Everyone hit form at the right time. Like from Wade, Stoinis, like Mitchell Marsh, Warner. Randomly, like they were like this, and they started playing like gods towards the last 3 4 matches. So I just feel that in terms of who can compete toe to toe with India if they are at their very best. And if India are also at their very best, I feel that's Australia. I feel that if India at their absolute best with bat and ball, they will blow away both New Zealand and South Africa. They will also probably blow away Australia like they did in Chennai. But if Australia can equally rise up to the challenge, we will be in for a great match. So, but this is all paper talk. It all depends on which side turns up on the day.
How
Yeah. So
ironic! How ironic an Australian fan is talking about paper talk after 2018. But yeah, sorry. I just wanted to get it.
Melville's come in and said, "Did we miss Kuldeep's Warney-like delivery to dismiss Butler, or did I miss?" I think you were the only unlucky one today, Melville,
Uh,
because
Oh,
India game
I mean,
you
he's saying talking about it in the show, I guess.
yeah,
I don't know.
okay. No,
personally.
yeah. So see, there were so many good deliveries. I mean, it's difficult to fit all of it in a 30 to 40 minute package where you have to talk about other team as well. Even though they might not have turned up, but we have to keep them in the show at least. But yeah, now we move towards the end of the show, and before I end the show, I just wanted to show this great picture to all of our viewers, who I assume most of them are Indian fans. And even if you're not an Indian fan, who doesn't like to see England at the bottom? So you must frame this, you must keep this, and you must remember this if you've ever wanted to take a dig at English cricket. So here it is. And on this note, I feel it's apt to end the show. uh, ODI cricket may or may not end, I don't know, but the show today has to end because we have to come back tomorrow for
I thought
another
you say
great.
English cricket has already ended, so
Just
I
like
missed
England,
that.
Paji, just like England, even Paji is not getting moral victory here. Kya yaar?
There are people to take away my shine today. क्या कर सकते हैं? Anyway,
Yaar.
but you know, on this note, we'd have to thank all the viewers who tuned in. Thanks to Nikhil, thanks to Anirudh, and thanks to
Yes.
Cricket, of course, who makes up for such great conversations. So goodbye. See you tomorrow at 1:25 p.m. for the preview show of Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka.